And the next idea is that he sees Hrgovic not as a threat, but as a shelf to put his own trophies on. He states, I get to add their accolades onto my career. Hrgovic has the best resume so far. It's the best resume that Moses Itauma has had to contend with. Boxing fans, of course, are very critical of boxing records. Remember, boxers are shaped in their amateur and professional chapters, and there's many different chapters to shaping a boxing. Many fans, they can minimize boxers. I hear the term cab drivers a lot. And it's funny because even if you're a cab driver, that doesn't really say anything about your boxing skills. So that's logically incoherent, but let's move on. But like I said, many fans can minimize an opponent's pedigree. Unfortunately, this shows a level of ignorance from the consumer, a narrative bias that gives us no context. And let me clarify, I don't mean all boxing fans, I mean a certain amount of boxing fans. Hrgovic objectively has a resume. He has fought top 10 fighters. There's no doubt about that. And his jab and his straight right, they are dangerous weapons. He also has an underestimated left hook to the body that's dangerous, and he brings tempos to fights. So all the evidence, when you stack up all the evidence, when you put all the evidence on the table, it suggests that he will come to win. And if Moses Itauma wins, it will be a significant achievement. Because in a sense, you cannot simultaneously dismiss Hrgovic and then celebrate Itauma for beating him. The value of the victory depends on respecting the quality of the opponent, and Hrgovic is a quality opponent. And then the next idea here is that Moses Itauma states he will pat himself on the back if he wins, and that admission is probably one of the most human things that he said. And what does this say about Moses Itauma's perspective? And more importantly, what does it say about Moses Itauma's perspective towards Hrgovic? To me, the connotation here is that he respects Hrgovic. He understands that Hrgovic has credibility within that ring. And perhaps greatness requires dissatisfaction, but there must eventually come a moment when ambition allows a fighter to recognize how far he has already traveled. Remember, if Moses Itauma wins, not only does he beat Hrgovic, but he will also pick up a title. And that, I'm assuming, will be an emotional moment. And then the next idea here is that his toughest amateur fight left him concussed. And this was against, I believe, Alois Jr., a man now in the same stable. According to Moses Itauma, I just went in there to try and stop him and left the ring with a concussion. What did that first experience, teach Moses Itauma? Now, I have not seen that first amateur fight, but what Moses Itauma is explaining there is an incidence of resistance. Let's first consider what a brain concussion is. So a concussion is a mild traumatic brain injury caused by a blow to the head or body that makes the brain move rapidly inside the skull. So the context here is that, of course, there are different types of concussion, but to experience a concussion, to experience that resistance, it shows some character to endure that type of pain. This was an adversity play. And what's important here is, how did he react? And would he react differently if the situation was to occur again? Can Hrgovic put him in some uncomfortable positions? Can Hrgovic put Moses Itauma in an uncomfortable position? And how does Moses Itauma react to that uncomfortable position? Imagine if Hrgovic has a great start. How does Moses Itauma process that, and how does he react to that? His preparation should give him the tools to deal with these scenarios. But surely it's different using the tools in the gym than using those same tools under the bright lights. And all in all, preparation can simulate adversity, but eventually every great fighter has to discover whether the lessons learned in the gym survive when reality starts pushing back.